Are you even funny enough? Yesterday, I did a post on my Facebook group and I asked people, do you think I'm funny? And if you think I'm funny, give me your honest comment. Or how would you describe me to a friend? Am I not funny? Am I funny? Or something else? Now, over the years, I have people that have told me, Nathan, you're so funny. But this is more of like in a very open conversation setting, not as a stand up comedian. However, I do like stand up comedy, but I've never saw myself like doing stand up comedy, which maybe I should in the near future, considering how much I watch it. But I personally love to laugh. I'm sure you also personally love to laugh. You know, they say laughter is the best medicine. And sometimes when we're down and there's a whole bunch going on in the world that we probably could use to laugh a little bit more. But have you ever used laughter or funniness in your presentations? Now, I know that typically, if you've ever read a presentation book or been to public speaking class, they typically tell you try to use humor in the beginning of your presentation. It's to make people feel more comfortable and laugh. And of course, this is a very touchy subject because you don't want to, sometimes what's funny to you may not be funny to somebody else. In addition to that, you want to be something that's like not too derogatory or political or racist funny, right? So people, of course, find different things funny. So you have to find something that's even, that will generally hit all the type of audiences, a general truth about people, and then or a situation and make people laugh. So have you ever, been in this situation where you're looking like to be more funny but don't know how? Well, I'll tell you what, I have been in that situation. And recently, when I'm in conversations with my friends, we're always laughing. That's the reality. We're always laughing and, finding, things to be happy about and always enjoying life and growing business. And we find the fun in it. But when it comes to presenting or maybe working with a client, I know me personally, I've never really thought down that road. I know in the back of my mind, oh, I should be, but the reality is I tend to lean more into opportunity mindset. I tend to go a little deeper in, this may not even be in a deep workshop. I'll give you an example. There was a time that I was speaking at an event, raising private money event, and there was about 400 people in the room. I know that because in the seminar business, you're supposed to count how many heads are in the room from the time of registration, then the second day, and to the end of the event. We have to do head counts every day. So there was about 400 people in the room, and it was my turn to speak. It was a 3-day event, and I was on the second day. And I had 90 minutes to get up there and speak about, I feel like I'm shouting right now. I had 90 minutes to go and speak about how you should think about raising money and how to change your perspective about it so that you can overcome mental barriers. Now, ironically, I wish I had the recording from this event, and I wish that I recorded myself with my own phone on audio. Unfortunately, I didn't. I even wish I still had the presentation, but I don't. After that event, I left there with I don't even think I left there with the stomach. I left there with my heart in the sewer because I was so depressed at how sad, I don't want to say depressed, but sad at how disappointed in myself at how I performed and the reaction from the crowd. And it was really draining. So I know I left there saying I want to delete everything that happened. However, I will tell you this one woman that I can't forget. This one woman I can't forget because as I was up there speaking and about whatever I was speaking about, honestly, I remember this one woman who came up to me at the end of the event, crying. And she even gave me a hug. She's like, I remember her face. She had like silver hair. She had some really nice glasses. She had a few gold rings on her hands. And she came crying up to me, eyes all red. And she said, Nathan, can I give you a hug? She didn't even say my name. Actually, she just said, can I give you a hug? I was like, yeah, sure. So I embraced her and we're hugging. And she said, I really needed to hear this today. I really needed to hear that it's not over for me. I really needed to hear that there's still a chance that I can do this. She was the only person that came up to me in a positive way. After I was done speaking, some of the staff came up to me and said, "Oh man, that was a tough, that was a tough one. That wasn't a good gig." And those are the feelings I had. I felt very bad. I was so grateful for the hosts to let me come there. But when you come to an event as a hired speaker, you have to perform. You have to perform. And I felt they're very deflated. But I walked away with a few lessons. Number one, I walked away saying I wasn't funny. I didn't come with the right message for the audience. And I didn't have a good structured offer for the audience. That's was my conclusion, because I reflected. I looked back on the entire everything. Like, I chopped it up. I remember looking at the presentation. I'm like, why did I talk about this? Why did I talk about that? And those are some pivotal moments in my life. And of course, there's a lot of times when you're self-reflecting or self-criticizing yourself, you can remember more mistakes than you can positive outcomes. Like, I mean, I can reflect one time I sold most of the room. It was like 80% of the room on a course, one of my own personal courses. But that doesn't have an impact, or, as much as the times I messed up, the times I made a mistake, the times I remember people being in the back of the room like, your time is over. You went overboard. You went 10 minutes too much. But there are other times where I remember, oh, you closed 100,000 in sales, or you did 200,000 in sales. Those highlights, actually, let me retract that. Sometimes the wounds can be more glorified in your mind than the highlights, the better parts. Sometimes the wounds can be more powerful than the success moments, and we have to be careful about that. We have to be careful because we can sit in a dark space in our mind if we focus on the negative things that have happened in our life. We can sit in victim mentality if we allow ourselves to. We can sit and craft a story and tell others about how things went bad, and we can sit and sit and sit. And the reality is, I didn't end up sitting in that state. I ended up changing the state and focused. There we go. Thanks, bud. And focused on, what am I going to do to get better? What am I going to do to improve? What am I going to do to make adjustments? Right. So those were my takeaways, and I'm happy to say that I'm really grateful that not only did I have great coaches and mentors to guide me to review things, but also I am grateful that I don't remember a lot of the failures. I'm grateful for that. I can learn from them, but you have to move on. So one of the things I wanted to let you know, and maybe you struggle with this too, it's actually why I'm asking. It's actually why I posted on my Facebook group. I said, am I funny? I think a lot of people struggle with this. A lot of speakers, trainers, coaches, even authors. If you're writing, in a book in written form, it should have some humor to it. And I think if you can make people laugh, it brings down the walls, the trust walls. It brings it down. It makes people feel more comfortable. But do you struggle with this as well? Do you struggle with being more funny? And it may be in a live networking setting, or it could be a post. Maybe you're writing something, maybe in a video, maybe in a live presentation, maybe even on a coaching call, right? Now so if you struggle with that, let me know in the comments. Maybe there's some ways we can align and figure out, how to be more funny and attack this beast, right? I will say this, I know where I thrive, and you should know where you thrive too. I know in my one-on-one coaching calls, there is humor. That I know for sure. Because I can look back and I remember seeing all the funny moments. But like my friends have always told me, Nathan, you're funny in the moment. You're funny right there. You're always either making us laugh or you just, and that's more of my style. But I want to take that to another level. So if that's something you're interested to, let me know. Throw it in the comments so I'm aware, and then we'll go on this journey together about being more funny and throwing humor into our coaching, into our consulting, and a transformation of people's lives. That's it for today. Just wanted to share those thoughts with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.